Welcome to the second hour of Beyond Christmas 2022. Soon you'll see Samoya in an excerpt from the recently released video series lovingly produced by Celia Hatch, who will join us soon along with Anael and also Patricia Sia. On a personal note, I remember first hearing about Fire the Grid a few years ago and seeing Samoya talk about her near-death experience, and was instantly captivated. I'm so glad to feature Fire the Grid today because it feels extremely important to me that we all take part and raise our vibration and that of our home planet.
We've done 4 evolutions. We've gone from the first field, the second field, the third field. We're in the 4th field. We're getting ready to move into the 5th field. And they called it a quantum leap. They talked about a pool of amoeba, and they talked about the critical mass. So the pool of amoeba are all swimming around being amoeba, you know. And they're all like, hey, I'm an amoeba. How are you an amoeba? Yeah, we're all amoeba. This is great. But at some point, all living creatures are imbued with the desire to be more than. Because they're God in form, there's a natural imbued nature that there must be more than this. So you get your little pool of amoeba, and they're all doing amoeba stuff, and finally there's a critical mass where enough of the amoeba are like, yeah, there must be more than this. Now, does an amoeba have this critical thinking, or is it just a sense of itself? And then boom, when you reach the critical mass, the amoeba change into the next evolution. It's the piece that evolution is missing, is that when we reach a critical mass where enough of that species goes, yeah, there must be more than this. There's a quantum leap. That species gets a new physiology, a new form, a new way of being, but the old amoebas are still there, right? It wasn't like every amoeba jumped into the next pool, because not all humans are going to reach that critical mass stage. These people will stay here, and there will be a quantum leap for us. So what the being said was, from Homo erectus to Homo sapien, you're never going to find that missing link, because it was a quantum leap between that to this. So we're about to make another quantum leap. We're moving from Homo sapien to Homo illuminus.
And I wanted to say thank you for everyone who's joining us today. And to introduce these 2 ladies who I hope I can consider as my friends, I would like to say this. There's a lot of people doing important work in our field. And there's a lot of people who are working very hard and very tirelessly behind the scenes that are making a huge amount of difference, not just in the work that we do, but I believe for the entire planet. So I am really thrilled today that we have Anael and Celia with us, who are going to tell us about Fire the Grid, that I personally participate in, and I think is an absolutely tremendous organization. So let's start with Anael. Would you like to start today and tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe a little bit about Fire the Grid?
Yes, thank you, Linda. Well, my journey with Fire the Grid started in 2005. In 2005, I met Samoya Shelley Yates at a conference. She told me her story. She told me a vision that she had, which was the same as mine that I had 15 years prior of meeting her, like the exact same sequence of images. And the message was to organize a big worldwide meditation on the 17th of July, 2007 at 11:11. And 11:11 was seen by many people around the world already. So it's a wake-up code. And that's why it brought so many people. But we had nothing. We had no money. We were poor, the three of us. And we got together with Bradfield at the time, who was doing the music. There's a song called Skies and Disclosure that we gave away, and you can find on the internet, on YouTube. And in that song, there was embedded a code that Shelley Samoya heard, and they were telling her how to build the site, which images she should use, the symbol, the forward letter, everything, like the 3 pages with the story, problem, and the plan. And we did the first meditation in 2007, and we had millions of people participating because it resonated in a lot of people. The goal was to bring down the energy of the universe to the earth, because her grid around everything that is living, a stone, a tree, a drop of water, there's a grid of energy. And the grid of energy of the earth was so depleted that the earth was dying. And because we were not, as human, doing our jobs was to be rods to bring the energy of the universe down and to the earth, to feed her. And we were not doing our jobs. So by bringing that energy down, we could fire the grid around the earth again to make it living. Because Shelley Samoya had a near-death experience with her son, and the light beings that came to her explained to her that what she did with a dying boy with a small group of people, she's going to do with a dying planet with a big group of people. And they gave her the date and the time of the event. And they showed me the same thing, but 15 years before I met her. And I didn't know what to do with that. Like, they showed me the earth like dying and then reignite again, and it was all beautiful. She was all beautiful and alive again. So I didn't know what to do with it until I met her. And when I met her, I said, and she told me that, I said, we're going to do this. And she gave me her phone number, and we started doing it in 2005. So we prepared the way, and we had the chance to have George Noory come on board and interviewing her. And that created a big wave around the planet because lots of people got interested. And we were between 20 and 25 million people doing it that I could count, but many were not accounted for. And we did it, and it just started. It ignited a movement of change, of positive change, slowly. And we even had the Princeton University that did a graph, like during the meditation, we had a big spike. So we made a difference collectively. And that's what we're continuing to do, because right now it's lit, but we have to feed it to maintain it, to give it more energy, to program it as well with what we want as a world, like a peaceful world, harmony, abundance for all, like all creatures, and a new paradigm. That's what we can program into it. And that's what we're doing. And I think, Celia, you want to talk about the Joy Fest that we do every the third Sunday of the month?
So the light beings that Samoya is in communication with suggested that between Fire the Grid dates, what we could do is we could have a Joy Fest on Samoya picked the third Sunday of every month. And this is a way for us to gather and to fire the grid and, find our belonging, to eat food and, dance or sing or do whatever it is that brings us joy, so that we can pulse the grid in between Fire the Grid meditation celebrations and to really uplift and give hope to humanity. So the next one is coming up on December the 18th. And And you can fire the grid with a bunch of people. If you don't have anybody around you, if you still fire the grid on that day by just simply doing whatever brings you joy and then saying thank you, you know that you will be doing it with people all over the world on that day.
That's a beautiful experience to have. I have also fired the grid. Would either of you like to explain the hexagon and the concept of the grid, which I find to be attractive?
So Samoya was shown a hexagon that looked like a frosted glass straw. So it's hollow. And the light beings told her that each of us have our own hexagon on the grid of humanity. And within this glass straw hexagon, there's a photon of light, which is our true essence. And when it zips around the hexagon, the speed at which it zips around the hexagon indicates what emotional state we're in. So if we are in joy, it just zips around. And if we're feeling low or sad, it kind of goes around very, very slowly. Now, when you are in joy and it's zinging around very quickly, it creates a powerful burst of energy, love energy that gets infused into the grid. So basically, when you are firing the grid, you are giving your love energy to 1,000 people around you. So your power is exponential.
Beautiful. I like that. And I've also found that when I'm having a kind of a down day, I just kind of visualize the grid and I visualize the other hexagons that surround mine. And I actually pull a little bit of energy in to try and get my little grid kind of fired up and vibrating faster. So I found it's kind of almost synergistic. It's like I put in when I have to put in, and when I need a little boost, I can pull a little bit out for myself and kind of pop myself up to another energy level. Another thing I like about it is all you have to do is enjoy yourself. I mean, there's no big, there's no protocols other than have fun. So, Anel, how do you have fun when you have a Joy Fest? What do you do?
Me?
Yeah.
When I have a Joy Fest? Well, usually I like to listen to music. And that brings me joy a lot. And since I was a child, I always loved music. I started singing it. I was 1.5 years old.
Wow.
And at 2, I knew a lot of songs already. And for me, music is a big joy. It's wonderful. And also watching nature. I love nature. I looked at animals and insects and flowers and trees. And I'm a tree hugger. So I love to hug trees and talk to them and talk to nature. I was always connected to nature a lot. So music, nature, art, paintings, everything creative I love. Nice. And the stars and the moon, and I love that too, watching the stars, because I know we're not alone in this big universe. So I always connect to the universe as well.
Yeah. I'd love to know what other reports you've had of people doing all sorts of things in their own way to raise their joy and fire the grid.
Okay. So one of the people who are firing the grid around the world emailed me and told me that she fires the grid every day with her horses. So, yep, in Colorado, she's got some land there and her horses and her fire the grid. So it doesn't even have to be human. It could be an interspecies fire the grid event. Somebody else said that what they do is they color mandalas. And so every once in a while, I'll receive a whole bunch of beautiful colored in mandalas from somebody who is, I believe, in South America somewhere. And she is encouraging people to, tune into that peacefulness and almost meditative state when you're coloring and firing the grid that way. So those are a few really unique ways that people fire the grid.
It would strike me that this would be a perfect activity for kids too, in schools and things on a regular kind of basis. Any reports of that?
I didn't get any report of kids, but parents with kids, yes. A lot of that, enjoying their children and playing with them and having fun, and taking a walk or tickling each other, it's easy. It's so easy. Just be in joy and enjoy yourself and having fun and say thank you for this beautiful life that we're living. and we make a difference just by being ourselves and enjoying ourselves.
Well, I enjoy actually a variety of different, I guess you'd call them modalities. Sometimes I sing, sometimes I dance, sometimes I meditate, sometimes I go for a walk in the woods with my dogs. So whatever it is that calls me on that particular day or that particular time, whatever it is I feel that it would resonate or just simply be happy, kind of toe tingly happy to go do. That's what I'll go do for the Fire of the Grid.
Right. Or having supper with friends, or going to the beach if it's warm enough. Here it's kind of cold, but going out with friends and having fun and dance. So it is super, super, super easy. So Celia, I have a question for you now. We know that NL and Samoya had a similar vision. And in the beginning, when Aniel started with Samoya in the beginning, you had a similar vision, and then you met up. But Celia, how did you come into the picture? How did you join the club, as it were?
So it's kind of a funny story, because there seems to be a connection to CE5, because I met Aniel through Dr. Stephen Greer's C5 movement. Mm-hmm. And I had kind of connected that Aniel was Samoya's original Fire of the Grid organizer. And I absolutely loved Fire of the Grid. I probably watched Samoya's Vancouver speech, who knows, 10 times over, the course of when I found Fire of the Grid and when I finally contacted Aniel. And I asked, what is happening with Samoya? Where is she? What's she doing? And Aniel said, well, she's trying to write a book. She's not feeling so well. She's not coming out onto the world stage at the moment. But maybe she'll write her book one day. And I just kept pestering Aniel every
he was relentless.
Every year or every couple of years, I would say, hey, what's happening, for many years. And I became a therapist, and I told Aniel, hey, give Samoya my number or my contact information, and maybe I could help her feel better enough to write her book, because I really wanted her to write the book. Samoya actually texted me or emailed me or something and said, hey, forget about the free counseling. Are you the dark-haired woman in my vision who's going to help me bring my message to humanity? And I said, yes, even though I really had no idea what I was jumping into. But I've got a lot of technical skills, and I'm able to, work the computer and do all the social medias and things like that. I think that Fire of the Grid originally, when Aniel and Samoya and Bradfield had planned this, I don't think that you guys had thought that it would be at this point that it would be blowing up.
We're just doing one event, and the only platform was a site and emails. YouTube didn't exist. Facebook didn't exist, like all the rest. So it was all emails passing from people to people. Yeah. Pretty amazing. Like, we did millions like this. Yeah.
So I think that, they needed a kind of a technical person on the team to help with it. And so that's me. Because now it's such a complicated technical world.
The older generation are not as good as you guys. Yeah, I'm really grateful that she came in and helped, because it wouldn't be possible without her.
That's amazing. And it's also amazing how so much of this progress has come to Samoya in visions. And somehow the beings, she has the ability to hear the beings. I know she had that near-death experience, but she has the ability to hear them so clearly. And I really struggle. I probably work too hard. It's like, please, tell me. But she seems to it seems to flow for her. And then you guys came in, and
she hears them. And she sees as well. They show her images. So she's very, very intuitive. Like, it started when after the accident, Evan was in the hospital, and they wanted to unplug him. And they told her, no, wait, and do this and that. And, everything that when she was drowning, after the drown, like, she went on the other side and she got all the information to bring him back. And so she said no, and all of this information came up again, and they told her, You're going to have people transferring their energy, putting their hand here and here, transferring their energy for 20 minutes so they don't deplete themselves or their own energies. After that, they're going to tell him why it's so great to be alive on this planet. So they were talking about their passion. And then they had to play music, Mozart at night and Bon Jovi, which was his favorite band, during the day in an ICU. And they had to have people every 20 minutes coming in his room. This is a miracle. Like, they accepted to do that. They were supposed to let him die, and they accepted to do it because she said, what do you have to lose? Like, you want him to unplug, you want to unplug him anyways. Like, what do you have to lose? So, okay, we're going to try. So it was day and night for 72 hours. They transfer their energy. They talk about their passion, and they played music. And it was forbidden to talk negatively in his room. So the doctors and the nurses had to act like he was normal, he was understanding them, like nothing was wrong with him. Outside the room, they could talk about his case, but not inside. And they did. And after 72 hours, like, he was, he had tubes coming out of his bodies, and he had blood coming out. After 72 hours, she came in his room and the doctor was there, and she was smelling death. Like, he was decomposing. In his diaper, his bowels were decomposing. They were flushing out his diaper. And the doctor said, look, we should unplug him. Like, it's cruel to keep him alive. And she thought, oh, I'm a bad mother. And she said, I'm going to think about it. And she went out. While she was out thinking how bad of a mother she was, she heard her mother calling her. Her mother the grandmother, was in the room with Evan. And she saw all the tubes coming out clear. No more blood. She saw his skin, which was gray, turn pink. And he opened his eyes. And she called her, Shelley, come, your son is alive. And she said, Annie, I didn't see the floor. I flew to his room and I opened the door. He was sitting. His eyes were open and he had the tube in, so he couldn't talk. And then she said, do you recognize mommy? And he said, yes. Is my name Joanne? He said. Is my name Sheila? Is my name Shelley? He said, yes. And the doctor said, oh, it's a reflex. He's a vegetable, he's done, And she said, he recognized me, is okay. I don't want to hear you anymore. My son is okay. So she hugged him. She sang him a lullaby. And after, I think, a week, they passed all the tests. He was okay. He could go to the bathroom all right after 2 days. Like, the doctor said he's going to need a pouch or something. And no, everything was okay. And all the burn from the electroshocks were gone. Like, he smelled a newborn. So everything changed like this. So it was pretty amazing. So that's what we did with our planet.
That's an incredible experience. Samoya I have so much respect for her. Having taken this on for the planet and humanity, for doing what she's doing. And I know that sometimes it's difficult, and I just have to, if I could send her a message, it would be thank you. And we appreciate it. And yeah, tough. I get it. I really get it. Celia?
David Wilcock actually said once, can you imagine what would have happened if we didn't fire the grid? Where would we be now? So from back in 2007, when 20 million people or more gathered together to save the life of the planet, like, where would we be? Can't even imagine.
Yeah. And David helped us too, because he was encouraging people to do it, to sit down and meditate and fire the grid with us.
it's hard not to become involved when you hear Shelley. Now, I know that she's got, or Shelley Samoya, those are both her names. And when you see Samoya on the YouTube, you've just started a YouTube series, which is phenomenal. I love listening to her talk. She's just so genuine and honest, and she's just telling you the story. And she's a great, great narrator.
Yes, the talk series is on YouTube. If you go there, you will see a playlist that says The Path of Humanity. And all 11 episodes will be there. Right now, we're just premiering it right now, actually. So we're only on episode 7. The light beings just want to ease our way. And she has so many messages in this, like over 7 hours of speaking that she can share with us to help us ease us through this time. We're going through a mitosis of the universe. And it's as if the Earth, it's as if the Earth itself is almost splitting. And so one planet is going to go off and live in vibrancy in the 5th field, and the other planet is going to go off and die. And so when we choose to raise our frequency, we are enabling ourselves to access the 5th field and to move with the Earth into this new time. So this is an important piece that the light beings are sharing with us to help us understand what is happening now, what the shift is all about, and how to ensure that those of us that are going to travel into, the 5th field and into this bright future get to go.
And it's important to know that there's no judgment. It's depending of how you vibrate. You're going to be on one world or the other, but there's no judgment. It's where you are. And at one point, the other ones are going to join us. It's just evolution. That's it. Because you cannot ask a kindergarten to go to university without going through everything. So it's the same thing. They're not ready. So when they're ready, they're going to come and join us.
So for the people who would like to join Fire the Grid and who would like to learn how to fire the grid, or perhaps just a little bit more about it, where would they look? How do they get more information? How can they join up? What should they do?
So basically, we're on all of the social media platforms. You can find us there. You can just search for Fire the Grid on any of those as well. You can go to firethegrid.world and you can sign up. You can make yourself counted. Click the Yes, I Will button. And if you want, you can receive emails from us. If you don't, that's cool too. Yeah. There is a book called A Message for Humanity. And the same information that's in the talk series is in the ebook as well. So you can get it that way.
And tell us about the symbol.
The symbol is a awakening symbol. There's 3. Well, we got the first one with the 3 stone and the capstone. And then we got a second one, but we thought it would be 2 stones. But it was that strange symbol. And one, like it's 3, 2, 1, actually. The energy form that it just have an effect on you. Like when you look at the mandala, the shape of the mandala is going to affect your vibrational field. So it's the same thing with those symbols. It was given to us, and it's us in the future that gave us those symbols to help us go through what we're going through right now. So us in the future are helping us right now. That's what we're doing.
I have heard that. I have heard in some circles that much of the phenomena that we see, and maybe perhaps some of the physical, what we think might be non-human intelligence, is actually us from the future. And I'd like to think that. That's a nice thought, right? So that's us coming back to say, hi, you're going to make it. You'll be fine. So yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to say in parting today? And I would just like to say that this is the easiest thing on the internet. I mean, all you got to do to be a light worker is have some fun, enjoy yourself, feel the joy, express that, give that joy to the universe and Mother Earth. And so I love it. Super easy, no rules. Ladies, in closing, do you have a message, please?
So actually, there is a little bit of a formula to firing the grid. Once you have your joy, say thank you. That's exactly. It. It's like a 1-2 punch.
Be grateful.
So joyful and gratitude. And I think that's a very powerful 1-2, should I say punch? That's maybe a little aggressive, right? But it's a very, very powerful 2-step, joy and gratitude. Absolutely.
And also to tell all your friends too, and enthuse them, ignite their passion, and fire the grid.
Exactly. Invite everybody.
Yeah. Samoya says instead of 1-2 punch, she says 1-2 pulse.
Oh, I love it. Oh, it's perfect.
So basically, the Joy Fest is coming up. You can check out the talk series on YouTube, and the ebook is on the website. We're just coming up to the big celebration meditation on February 21st, 2023, which is going to be the big one. So that's coming up in the not too far distant future. I just wanted to say thank you to you, Linda, because you really helped us get the talk series off the ground. And it was such a gigantic project, and we really didn't know how to attack it and get it done. So you really helped us to put it together, and we just really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
And I'd like to thank you all for appearing on the Beyond Christmas 2022 special. In fact, you're so special, and Fire the Grid so special. And thank you, Linda, for hosting. And look, I can't enthuse people enough to actually just get involved on a daily basis even, and fire the grid.
And thank you for creating this beautiful event also, Michael. It's great. You bring people together, you inspire people with all the talks and the interviews of all those beautiful people that are working for the light on the planet. So it's very important what you do. And thank you, Linda, too, for your inspiration and for the series. That's great. I'm glad to have met you both.
Thank you. So thank you very much for joining us today on Beyond Being Human with the Fire the Grid ladies. And I strongly encourage you to go out and take a look-see and have some fun and some joy and gratitude with all of us and help the planet in the process. Thank you very much.
They wanted me to tell the people this. What you did for a dying boy with a small group of people, you can do for a dying planet with a large group of people. So I said, well, what do you mean? And they said that this grid system that we are encased in is collapsing. It's changing. Something's happening rapidly to move us from the world of absolute humanness. You know, this is hard, this is hard. They wanted us to understand that we're part of that system and that we can do for the Earth grid what we did for Evan.
So they talked about Fire the Grid. They explained to us that every one of us is a hexagon on this grid. And the hexagon in the very beginning, when I first started to see it, looked like it was a frosted straw. And there was a photon of light inside of that straw. And what I discovered was when you were happy and grateful, the little photon was going wing, 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 wing. And it was flying around in that little hexagon and pulsing the energy grid. And when it did, the liquid light that this little photon made inside the frosted straw would flood out 1,000 hexagons. And they called it flooding the junctures, because your hexagon and my hexagon are right next to each other.
So that was wonderful conversation. Thank you so much for doing it. Patricia, would you like to have a bit of a talk? And thank you, Anel, for your wonderful music. I love that track and the other tracks too.
Thank you.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Earlier this year, Celia put out a call to the Fire the Grid volunteers asking, do you have any ideas how we can encourage people to fire the grid? I've been doing guided meditations for about 30 years in my workshops and gatherings. And so I thought, gee, I'll just, whip out a guided meditation and people can listen to that as they do it. Anyway, I am a recovering perfectionist, so rather than go off the cuff, I decided instead to really have a good look at the website and see what they were about, and I wanted to stay true to that. So I, wrote up 5-minute meditation. As you know, we live in a very busy world, and it's very difficult to slow down and really be quiet in our minds quickly. It takes 5 minutes just to clear out the debris before I can start to settle. But if someone's talking to me, then that can go a lot more quickly. And I have found that with my students throughout the decades. So that's what I did. I created a little 5-minute or so segment on guiding people to do it, and also talking in between that about what Fire the Grid was about and why it's important. Hopefully, when people hear the message repetitively, it'll really sink in. So that was what was behind that. Now, for the music, back in, it could have been 2006 or 2007, I'm not sure. I received an email. We were talking earlier about, the forwards. That's how we did things in those days. Someone sent me an email about this girl who had, crashed into this lake or pond and, had finally saved her son, the whole story. And these two people, Anael and Bradfield, were doing some sort of fundraiser, and they were offering up, I think, 8 CDs for a ridiculously low price. So, of course, I jumped on it, and I ordered the whole pack. So now I finished this meditation, and I remembered that I had these CDs. So I had a look at them, and sure enough, on the first ones I came across, they talked about how these CDs were infused with light codes. Wow, this will be perfect. So I added a track and, asked Celia, can you get in touch with NIL and get permission to use this? So that's how that came about, and it worked out beautifully. The music is beautiful. The energy of it is fabulous, and it works beautifully in the project. On a deeper level, one of the reasons that I did this is that I believe each one of us is responsible for taking care of our planet. We shower every day, we brush our teeth every day, we keep our houses clean. Well, the planet is our home too. So anything that I can do to encourage someone else to do that, I'm there. I want to be part of it. The other piece to that is that every time my hexagon shines, if it ripples out, all the better. And the more that I meditate, never mind this particular one, but at any time, I'm going to light up, and it's going to be helpful to all of us. So that's what's behind that little project. And it was fun to do, and I'm really grateful that I had a platform to do this on. So thank you.
Thank you for doing it.
Thank you, Patricia. Your voice is absolutely mesmerizing. It's just such a beautiful tone, and it really helps get into the meditation. So thank you.
So
creates an empathic resonance.
Mm.
Yeah.
In 1989, I was hosting an event, and this psychic from Toronto phoned. She wanted to come. And I answered the phone, and she said, "Are you Patricia Sear?" I said, "Yes." "My God," she says, "you're a human sedative." I said, "Okay." So guiding the meditations has always worked well for me. So it was kind of a natural that that is what I would want to do in this project.
The code in the music, we didn't know there were code in the music when we did the music. It's Samoya that told us that. And there is codes like this in books, in movies, in other kinds of music. They try to reach people that way. The way
it's
that
so cool.
Yeah, that they encode some music and some films and some books, and that's how they work us. Like the crop circles too. It's like homeopathic doses of consciousness in the waters underneath. So yeah, that's the way they work. Very slowly, but very effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you, Samoya, for Fire the Grid and the inspirations and all of that.
Make yourself comfortable and take a couple of deep, relaxing breaths. Imagine there's a great white light descending into your crown and on down into your heart. From there, it fills your arms, your hands, in fact, your entire body. Know that this light brings with it complete protection. You are safe. This light is pulsing, scintillating, expanding, getting stronger and brighter with each pulse. Allow this to happen. This light is increasing your frequency and brings with it exactly what you need at this moment: joy, bliss, excitement, peace, calm, coherence, happiness, satisfaction, appreciation, and contentment. Let these feelings permeate your being. Become these feelings. It may help to remember a really happy time or someone you love with all your heart. Increasing your frequency can light up 1,000 others on the grid. Let's do that. Let's send that light onto the planetary grid to uplift our brothers and sisters. The light keeps coming through your crown, down into your heart and body, pulsing through you, and you send it on. Simply send it on. All you have to do is be present. Stay in those wonderful, happy, loving feelings that are so nourishing, and let it happen. We have inside us the power to unite this planet as one race with peace and prosperity for all. This power lies inside us, and when we combine with the loving energy of other humans, we can do for humanity what Samoya was able to do for her son. The light beings told her to have faith, that she would be divinely guided. So have faith. You are divinely guided and far more powerful than you know. Just keep sending. We can heal and uplift humanity. With this healing will come a new phase for us. We will have a time of peace and harmony. All it takes is our intention as a united group, and 5 minutes a day. Keep pulsing the light. You are infused with light. Every one of your cells glowing, vibrating with the light, flowing it back to the grid, lighting it up. The energy we need to ascend to our next highest expression. pulsing away, pulsing the light onto the grid. There's much more to life than what we generally experience. There are other dimensions just as real as ours. And there are forces of good that truly want to help us. All we need do is be available. Open up and allow it to flow through even more, pulsing brighter with every moment, pushing through stronger with every breath. And notice how easy it is. You really just have to be available for this. Beautiful white light pulsing through, pulsing through, pulsing through. We have been sending light to the grid now for about 5 minutes. If you wish to continue a bit longer, please do so. Just keep allowing the light to flow and enjoy these moments. Thank you so much for doing this. We are so grateful for your beautiful contribution, for helping us to raise our frequency as a collective even higher. God bless you.
Unfortunately, Joseph Jacques looks like he won't be able to make it with us all here today, but here's a brief video talking about his organization, and he's the co-founder of Harmonic Humanity. And later on, I'll show another video which interviews a few of the people out on the streets that he's helping. And he does a great job, and he's looking to spread it across America in particular. But this is also part of our ongoing charity campaign, and you can have a look at this website where there's more details and other links and things to follow through, and you can make donations there. And I think we've all got to give back in some way. Okay.
Sometimes I rock, sometimes I roll.
Hey, I'm Jason Mraz. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I'm here at the legendary Fillmore in San Francisco, where we are celebrating the 10-year anniversary of Harmonic Humanity. Harmonic Humanity I like to think of as a record label where the music distribution is done uniquely through the street vendors, commonly seen as homeless people, but Harmonic Humanity views them differently and gives them a hand up in the world by giving them opportunities through that music. And I'm excited to see what they can do on the streets in many cities around the world, providing comfort, dignity, services, outreach, and of course music. So I think the task of the hero today continues to be courage to be your authentic self, and courage to reach a hand out and say, how can I help you? It's important to maybe remember that we only get a limited number of breaths, so every once in a while it's good to use your breath to say things like, you can rely on me, and send out some love to those who need it.
You can rely on me for anything.
My name is Jata, and I have been experiencing homelessness and poverty for about 5 to 6 years on and off. Harmonic Humanity has played a huge part in my life in meeting, all my needs. For me, I've had roadblocks and certain setbacks, and it has not been easy. It's been very challenging, yet there's always a way through. And the CDs have allowed me to, trade and get creative in earning what I need to earn.
And I feel that that's what this project also inspires, is like finding ways for people to do something for themselves, to help others in their own community, using the talents that they have, whatever that talent may be.
Hey guys, I'm asking you to join our mission. Our mission is to gather musicians and artists that want to make a difference for these people who are on the streets. This is the great hero's journey of our time. The name of our organization is called Harmonic Humanity. It's a group of people who care about other people. So we are raising $100,000. Now what does that mean? That means that we are going, me, yours truly, Joe in a van, is going to 10 cities where homelessness is most severe. Our goal is to drop off 5,000 Harmonic Humanity Hero CDs along with 2,000 Be Love postcards to each and every city. Now what that means is roughly about $110,000 worth of potential revenue in each city. Now you add all that up and that's a little over $1 million worth of jobs. And just keep this in mind, family. We have individuals on the streets offering people who walk by world-class art. Who's doing that? Nobody. This is an awesome ship that we're sailing in. And guess what? You can have an oar. And we're going to bring this humanitarianism to a town near you because everybody deserves a home. Everybody deserves empowerment. Everybody deserves a job.
Look for the good in everything.
Sing it with us. Look for the people who set your soul free.
Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone is nature. Everyone is God. Everyone is love and light and vibration. Look for the good.
And now, here's Reverend Devi Grace out in the wilds in this wild, wild weather. And here's her Beyond Christmas message.
Merry Christmas from Reverend Devi Grace and the Divine Union Academy on these gorgeous lands of Pennsylvania's Columcille Megalith Stone Park. These properties have a huge network of ancient stone technologies called geomancy, imported over from the Isle of Iona in Scotland by a very visionary American who cultivates this intimacy with nature and also the ancient traditions of Christ consciousness as it was honored over in the ancestral practices of Europe. And so we bring you the blessings of this early winter solstice, the night that is the longest and the least amount of external sunlight, which is the mother's night of power. And on this holy Yuletide tree of life, many of the cultures around the planet celebrate the birth of the internal sun, the conception of the solar God, which is the illuminating or radiant presence to guide us out of that amnesia or forgetting of separation consciousness and birthing unity consciousness every winter Yule. And this property is such an incredible example of how we partner with the ancient magical traditions or pagan or Wiccan faiths and how that is inclusive of the Christ consciousness or the cosmic Christ frequencies with our star families and angelic relations. And this whole property has both traditions equally being represented and factored into a way of communing with the divine in both of its expressions. And so as we go into this season of light, may you take the opportunity to travel into the deepest recesses of the silence of the still point, of the void point, where all is in that radiant ebony darkness, and see if you can connect with that spark of your original inception point, origins point, emanation point, first emergence from eternal first creation, and feel that holy flame circulate through your whole body, even when everything is still externally. Feel that music, feel that crescendo of your spirit, singing you alive, singing you awake as we greet sundown here, the last rainbow rays gazing across canopy of these lands. And so may you find this message warming the fires and the heart of your hearth within, the altar within, the temple within. And may you have the most exquisitely festive, delicious, and beautiful rest of your holy days. To be continued. Much love.